He's on death row. Right. He's on death row.
Wait, the non-violent?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And your brother walked into PNC Bank with an AR-15 and told him to give him the money. Who you pardoning?
I don't have a
matter of fact.
brother.
I want to hear from the peanut gallery too. All right, so since we're on this topic, I want to know what you guys think about Joe Biden pardoning Hunter, his son, after explicitly saying he wasn't going to do that.
I'll be so honest, I'm not surprised. It's his son.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end of the day, politics are politics, but I personally don't believe that politicians will put that in front of their family. In some cases, because we know that there are some who are more extreme and are like, at any means possible, like, I'm gonna, try to pursue my political interests, like, forgetting about everyone else. But personally, it's not surprising. It was bound to happen. Like, he was just playing the political game.
Yep.
And, of course, eventually was going to lead up to this. I mean, he's not coming back to the office, so, like, what do you think he was going to do? Let his son be at risk of going to prison? That's just my take.
Yeah. Would you have done the same thing if it was your child?
Of course.
Of course.
I feel like it's like a why not situation for Biden. Like you said, he's going to leave office soon. Might as well. And then it's also like, I don't think that presidents should be able to like do that. I don't know how far of an overreach of power it is. I think it is a little messed up, but also I feel like we've seen how Donald Trump has used the system, and he's issued pardons for people close to him. He issued a pardon for Jared Kushner's father, and he's now appointed him ambassador. So it's just like things like that. It's like, obviously it's not great for democracy as a whole, but at the same time, it's your son. You're gonna do whatever you want for your children, and you can't blame the guy for doing what he did. It's like you don't want your kid to go to jail,
right? And it's not as if in like the law or like in any type of writing within the government, any policy, he couldn't do that. Like the power was there, so
right. He was well within his right to do that. My only thing is like, why lie? Like spend years and years and years doubling down. I'm not going to pardon him. I'm not going to use presidential pardon. I don't know if he thought that his son was going to get off scot-free. I don't know if he thought he wasn't going to need to use the pardon. I don't know if he was trying to take like a moral high ground and be like, no, I'm not the type of president to like use my power for my own personal gain. But you did. So now what? Luckily for him, again, he's not getting reelected. So the people don't got to trust him anymore. Because I do not trust him anymore. Because like everybody knew that if you were in that position where you could do it, you were going to do it. So for me, it's like there was no reason for you to lie, especially when you're painting yourself to be the honest one between you and your opponent. Because then it's like, well, Trump's looking a lot more honest than you right now, because Trump would have never said, no, I'm not going to do that. He would have just been like, hell yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, So it's like, I feel like you're a politician, like, you know how to evade questions. You don't have to answer stuff directly. You know how to not do that. So why are you coming out and answering stuff directly for it to be a lie and then doubling back on it? Like, that made me angry. Like, I would have done the same thing.
I feel like he had to say he wasn't going to pardon him. You know what I mean? For like the political image, for his image, I feel like he had to say that. He had to be like, oh, of course not. I'm not going to pardon him. I'm going to trust the system.
I feel like he didn't have to, though. I feel like he could have like.
But people don't want to hear Joe Biden twisting words. They want to hear Joe Biden telling them what appears to be a direct truth. It wasn't the truth, but the people want to hear what they want to hear. And at the end of the day, you can't blame him for telling the people what they want to hear.
But I wonder also if like part of him genuinely wasn't going to pardon him, and maybe it was like a last minute like keeping him up at night in the Oval Office, like twisting and turning and tossing and turning in his bed. But we'll never know. I think that actually, let's get into the presidential pardon like as a whole. Like, what do y'all think of that? Can other countries do that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I want to assume so.
Yeah?
I want to assume so,
What do you guys think of that? I feel like it's a little much. But also, if we're looking at the U.S. right now, given the state of our justice system, I also am glad, because he did commute like the drug sentences. I think that's one thing that he did that was good.
Yeah.
Because he himself championed that bill that people linked to leading to a lot of mass incarceration, especially on drug crimes. So I think it was good of him, a nice way to kind of clean up his legacy, commuting those sentences and also like giving pardons based on that. But what do y'all think of the presidential pardon in general?
I think I don't think, I feel like as a chief executive in the nation, you should be able to have that kind of power because it, like, that's, you have that status, you have that office. That's what the seat of president has that power, ultimate power in the nation, So I think a pardon isn't like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I feel like it's just when people start to, use it for personal gain or like benefit or like stuff like that, then it's an issue. But then again, that's why your checks and balances is to see how far we can go. But I realistically don't think it's that much of a bad thing because like they're not pardoning like serial murderers. You know what I mean? It's,
True.
it could be worse than just pardoning your son. So
This is true. I wish he had used it on Marcellus Khalifa though. Marcellus Williams.
yeah,
That was a big thing. I don't know how that didn't get his attention.
I feel like that. I almost surprised. That was a surprising decision for me because like even like the victim's family like didn't want him to be killed. Like regardless of if he did it or didn't do it, they just wanted like they didn't see the point in his death for the crime. So I feel like that is something he should have or just
at least commuted the sentence. He didn't even have to pardon him.
Yeah, just commuted the sentence.
Yeah, but
No, agreed. I'm like looking at the list right now, and the key word that I see, like for almost all of the recipients, at least the ones that I've seen, is nonviolent offenses.
mm-hmm.
That's like the key, maybe like criteria that he considered. I mean, like most of them, as you said, drugs, but nonviolent.
Yeah.
So like that, and a lot of people do turn their lives around, even like when they're in prison. So, like, maybe that was also a factor, I would think.
Yeah.
So, definitely, pardons can be used for the better. But also, as Dan said, it can be used for the worst.
Yeah. I think, for me, it just kind of blows my mind all the time that, like, you really, as president, you really can just wake up one day and be like, you know what? Get this man out of prison ASAP. Like, that's just so mind-blowing to me. Like, I don't know what I would do if I was wielding that type of power. Okay. Let's do a fun little hypothetical. Okay, say you were president, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this hypothetical, you have a limit to how many pardons you could get. And you're at your last pardon. Okay? Are you pardoning your brother who is in there on like a armed robbery charge and he did it? Or are you pardoning some stranger that's been in jail for 20 years on a non-violent drug crime?
How long is the
They've been there. Matter of fact, he's on death row. Right. He's on death row.
Wait, the non-violent?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And your brother walked into PNC Bank with an AR-15 and told him to give him the money. Who you pardoning?
I don't have a
Matter of fact,
brother.
I want to hear from the peanut gallery
like
too.
Death row is kind of.
Am I get out of
That's
jail
kind of
free?
little bit easier.
Death row was crazy.
You can get around a little bit easier from death row. I feel like death row is not always a definite.
Yeah, not everybody who's on death row gets killed.
Definite, you know what I mean? Like it would take a long time to get to death row, nigga. Like half the time, nigga, your shit. Half the time when you on death row, your stuff take 10 to 20 years to get there. So by the time you or the chair or wherever you at.
This is true.
I don't think so. I'll be pardoning the other
They're
one.
not immediate.
This is true. This is true. People waiting 15, 20 years to get executed.
But yeah,
that's crazy. I would be so mad. But who y'all choosing?
Damn. How long my brother gonna do?
Let's say he getting 20 years.
Damn.
To life.
That's a long.
That's what I'm saying.
Could he get parole? I can't curse on here.
Right.
We'll just get it bleeped out, right?
What do you mean you can't curse?
Yeah.
If he can't, y'all think they should do the 20 or no?
I wouldn't let my brother do
the
the
time.
20.
Yeah, I think I'm
y'all-
getting my
y'all
brother
loyal,
out,
though.
y'all.
I wouldn't let my brother
I'm
do the 20.
so
You said you loyal though, but then I'm like somebody in there that they don't need to be
okay,
in there.
do you have a sister?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I know.
Sister.
My
I
sister
think I'm
doing
getting
the
my
20,
brother
shoot.
out.
Straight now.
But then I'm putting him on house arrest in the White House. You are not leaving my sight. Don't ever be.
Let's not have that happen.
But luckily in the no, you can't. You are not on trial. But luckily in the real world, there is no limit to how many. So you can get both your brother and the drug addict out. Or no, he's not a drug addict. Actually, he was wrongfully convicted because that's what they do to black men.
Real question, yeah. They didn't get Eric Snowden out
And the
here,
Hispanic
right?
men too. I ain't forget about them. All right, so let's move on to the news story that is taking the nation by storm in a way that you would not have expected. Mr. Luigi Mangione, hero, murderer, whatever you want to call him, he is an American celebrity right now, an American legend right now. They will be talking about him in the history books.
Oh.
So, first things first, do you guys think he did it?
Yeah. He probably did it. Yeah, he probably did it.
Did you see the way that
I'm
he
not
pulled
gonna
the
lie.
switch
I
out?
look at the surveillance footage and I look at his face and I'm just like,
Nah, that's the
It
same person.
does,
that did
but,
most
like,
of it. It's the same person.
No.
every time.
Let's not forget he could have had like the prosthetics. He could have had like the little skin molds and stuff, and he could have done something temporary. He looking at the camera like it's the office.
Honestly, he looked the same.
you know,
I think he did it.
Just the eyebrow.
I don't think
there's a very high chance he did it, but we always gotta leave that room for doubt.
Yeah,
And the thing
And this
is,
is the
if they
proof.
can prove that reasonable doubt, he's probably off the hook.
Jesus
he had
Christ.
that gun though.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's
what are
true.
you doing in an Altoona McDonald's with
a
Monopoly
switch.
money,
Okay.
a shadow gun, and a fake ID?
Okay,
Hello?
to some points though, there are people. I don't like to peddle conspiracy theories out there, but there are some people who are saying like the fake IDs and the counterfeit cash was all planted on him, so he'd be a flight risk, so he couldn't leave the country. That or wouldn't get like bail or anything like that. That's what it was.
That's what
I
they
could
saying.
see. I could see that. Like
But who would have planted it on him?
anybody and the police.
And now
the-
too.
Oh,
I'm
the
not
police
gonna
be
lie.
doing that. They be
Right.
doing that.
I'm not gonna. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm just curious as to how people like in our society think. So I've been like scrolling through TikToks and I'm just like, interesting, but probably not likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. It's like, dude.
I think the thing is, if he was framed, then whoever is really responsible committed the perfect crime. Because even going back to 2013, Mangione has Reddit posts talking about how he's had life-altering medical conditions, severe back pain that has been going on for a while, and he has like an internet footprint, a digital footprint, detailing his like disdain for healthcare CEOs and the healthcare industry, health insurance industry in general. So whoever, if it was not him and somebody actually planted him or framed him,
It's a great guy. Sorry.
then
Yeah.
he
Picked
is
the
perfect guy. Or not being a conspiracy theorist myself, or they did it together and then the other guy let my man's Luigi take the fall. This is also possible. But we don't know. Innocent until proven guilty, but all signs are pointing to guilty, honestly.
Very guilty.
Now, a question that I want to ask you guys is, so backtracking a little bit, this event has divided the U.S. because some people are saying, regardless of his feelings towards healthcare insurance and stuff like that, murder is murder. But on the other hand, it's also revealed how would I say this? It's revealed something deeper in the dissatisfaction on the part of U.S. citizens with American healthcare and the American healthcare system. I was learning about it in my public policy class. Compared to other developed countries, Americans pay so much more in insurance and get so much less benefit from it. So, like, what are your guys' thoughts on like this whole vigilante type of thing? Like, do you guys think it was merited? Like, was it merited? Like, was it warranted on Mangione's part? Do you think murder is murder regardless? And do you think this will spark a revolution, a movement?
Honestly, to start, I do believe murder is murder, and like, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. And I feel like it sounds like I'm excusing it, but I'm not. Like, murder's murder. We got past that. But the thing is, at the same time, thinking, how many people have died because they couldn't afford care on time,
Clock it.
at all? Like, I don't want to say, oh my God, this happened, that happened, you know? Like, in terms of what just happened without acknowledging, like, people that have been impacted by this company. So it's definitely an issue that society and upper level management has to address. And it seems like a lot of them have been responding a little bit more. I mean, from what I see, like Blue Anthem, they were rolling out that one program that limited the amount of anesthesia you could get
Yep.
per
Crazy.
procedure. And then very shortly after, they're like, never mind. We're gonna.
They don't want their CEO to get murked too.
Right.
Hello.
Right. So it's like, did it really have to take someone getting shot, a CEO getting shot in broad daylight, for you guys to realize, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that? Like, come on.
Come on. Let's do better. What do you think, Dan?
Murder is murder. The disdain that the American public has for the healthcare system in this country is completely warranted and justified, however. And I feel like it's only a matter of, like, there's something like this, it was only a matter of time. Like, the system is so bad and affects everybody indiscriminately in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like if you aren't that top 1%, like if you aren't that like top tier, like the healthcare system, like it screws you. Honestly, let's be honest. And the politics behind it, it's, you know, let's be honest. Healthcare companies have a lot of money, which means that they can lobby more than a lot of, you know, more than like grassroots and more than activists for, you know, fair healthcare. So they can lobby and they can persuade more politicians to their side. It's unfortunate that someone's life has to be lost for there to be this kind of like, for like people like to like really realize that like there is an issue in this country and the public has such a problem. Like we the American people know what's happening and we don't like it, and someone took it into their own hands. Whether it was a right method or a wrong method, they took it into their own hands. That's what happened. Someone was tired. Someone who their entire life was affected by health problems and felt they weren't getting adequate help, and they just seen, you know, how other people haven't getting adequate help. They snapped. They pushed them to the brink. Something happened, and, you know, they went after someone who they thought was responsible, and unfortunately, that ended somebody's life being lost. But you know, as like you said, like big companies, like insurance companies, have to wake up and like realize like this is what happens. Like when the public is upset about something, something's gonna happen eventually. You know, like we're not used to seeing it happen here in America specifically, but a lot of other places, people don't like something, they will take it into their own hands. That's just the reality of things. If things don't get better, someone's gonna make sure things like change at least. But it's also, we have to see how people respond, like how like the response, I guess, to see like from like companies and things like that. But I'd say it's sad that somebody lost their life, and that's always a bad thing. But something also needs to change regarding healthcare and insurance in this country.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we definitely see a trend of, in any sense, in any industry, like whether that's the food, agriculture, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, like
Sure.
we see a trend of these big companies putting profit over people. And I think there's something so morbidly poetic about the words delay, defend, depose engraved on the bullets, because it's like kind of, and this is like my literature poetry brain working, but it's like the CEO of a big healthcare company is dying by the same words and the same kind of mantra that has indirectly killed thousands, if not millions, of other people because of the inaction and the greed of these big healthcare companies. So I think that for me really makes this like a crime of passion, because it's not just some like unfeeling hit, you know, it's not like he was paid to do this or anything. Like he did this because deep in his heart he was sick and tired, because you can't, like, there's a certain type of resolve and a certain level of fed up and angry that you have to be to kill someone because I get pissed off at people all the time.
To kill someone.
And I be telling them, I'm like, I'm gonna do you in. Like, I will get you.
Yeah.
But I will never in my life wake up one day to actually pull the trigger to end somebody's life because that's heavy. That's the type of thing that will sit on your conscience for the rest of your life. So the amount of anger he must have had in his heart to actually do that, like, I really do hope that the other CEOs will wake up and be like, okay, we need to maybe start listening to the people. But on the other hand, the thing about these big companies is that even if you take one out, somebody will just come again. Somebody will come back to the
five
session.
more CEOs that are doing the same thing or doing even worse.
Exactly. There's a line of succession too. So United Healthcare, they're gonna have another CEO by the end of next week probably. So tops. So it's like I understand the anger and I really hope that something positive comes out of this, but at the same time, will anything really change? Because it's like, oh dang, one of our CEOs got killed. This time we'll just have them walk around with security detail.
To see?
You see? That's what I'm saying. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, you're looking at me right now. I'm 18 years old, fresh face.
$600.
And you're asking me to give you $600 up front? Are you crazy?
Right.
I've never even touched that much money in my life before.
$600.
$600
That's absurd.
to function in this society?
Right.
How can I be a
pay to
productive
see.
member of society if I'm blind?
I have a question. How many contacts? What was the pack? Was it
What
a
was the
3
pack?
month?
6
month?
month pack.
It was 6 months
6
back.
month supply.
How what?
And you know what? And you know what, y'all? Because of that, I literally went from August to October with the
Blind.
same pair of
Are you
contacts.
serious?
I
Are you
swear,
serious?
wallahi,
gotta make
billahi,
those
bro.
stretch. You have
Saying
to
I
make
had to stretch it
No
out,
way.
y'all. Like
No
I was in
way.
pain. My eyes were itching every day. They're getting dry because I'm not paying $600
Right.
to get
No,
contacts and
no.
glasses. I'm not doing that.
Like the fact that we have to like sacrifice and possibly like get an infection off of trying to save money because contacts are so expensive.
And that's why they say poverty begets poverty. Because imagine now you have the choice between I have to get my contacts replaced because my prescription has gotten worse and I have to pay rent and put food on the table this month. You're not going to choose your glasses. You're going to put food on the table. You're going to make sure you have a roof over your head. So it's like you're like caught between a rock and a hard place. And you can't say that the American healthcare system is better than everywhere else because it's not. Statistically, it's not. Empirically, it's not. Anecdotally, it's not. In every single aspect, the American healthcare system sucks.
It's awful.
Hello, like let's really, and it's really
Lower
Matter of
life
fact-
expectancy,
lower life expectancy.
higher infant mortality, like highest rate based off of opioids too.
And this is
Let's not talk about obesity in this
and
country.
obesity,
Let's not talk about obesity and
chronic
healthcare.
drug use, heart disease, and this is the biggest economy in the world, guys.
Right.
This is the best economy in the world,
But you look at a
but
graph.
we can't keep our people alive.
Exactly.
Nope.
Look at a graph of all of the like developed Western countries too.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
see,
US?
you see who's lacking, bro. You really see who's
Down
lacking.
Lacking. Like I know. I say this to my mom all the time. Whenever I go home, like home as in Senegal or like the Ivory Coast, I can eat whatever, and I will come back. My tummy will be flatter than I left. As soon as I will never forget the beginning of my junior year. I came back to DC and I had one wing from Wingstop, and my stomach started doing somersaults. What? Like we're being killed. We're being killed, y'all.
With that
Like,
red 40.
This is crazy. That red 40, right? Like, what's going on?
Yo, that's funny.
What is really going on? And like, I dread going to the doctor, dread going to the dentist, eye doctor, because I know whatever sum I see on that little card machine will just kill me.
The urgent care here doesn't take my insurance, bro. MedExpress doesn't take my. I swear to God, my bill was like $270 or something, bro. Bro, I don't get sick here anymore. I can't get sick here.
Can't get sick. And if you get sick, you just
Crazy.
you go to Barney's in the hub, you get yourself a little Dayquil,
I don't get
drink
sick.
some tea.
Tylenol.
Getting sick as a college student here is
Crazy.
and nothing is cheap at all. Nothing. Oh, hey, man. Let me not go on a rant.
Okay. So since we're talking about health, what do you guys think of RFK being our potential?
That's the funniest thing ever. Okay, all right.
Secretary.
Let me take it off. Let me take off like whatever like BS personal. That's the funniest thing ever. He knows nothing about anything. What?
Right. Mind you, audience, this is the same guy that said
lawyer.
that vaccines can cause autism.
But then anybody can
If
take
2
it.
plus 2 is 4.
You know what?
-1.
Grace, actually, matter of fact, can I get a...
You know what?
Yo,
Just
who here has got a vaccine before?
Pre-COVID,
Interesting.
COVID, after COVID,
Right.
in the midst of COVID.
Right.
Y'all feel okay? Y'all all feel okay? Alright, that's weird. That's
I
weird.
got a vaccine
RFK,
for every
come over here. We all got vaccines. We all good.
Every
bro.
round of it is crazy.
I ain't take the
Nah,
third.
I only got the first round. I'm not
Yeah, I
going
only got the
Health
first
and Human
round.
Services.
Yeah,
I was second, man. Third.
Hey, you know what's funny?
My body only needed one.
haven't had
Sometimes, like, you know what? That's not even the best, like, office for they should get agriculture, because that's actually what he wants to change, like, you know, like food and stuff, like how healthy everything is, and like Health and Human Services. But like, what does he's an environmental lawyer.
RFK?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Lawyer.
yeah. He went to
That's why that family disowned
yeah.
him.
He went to
Let me-
Harvard and
I mean,
went to
He ain't
UGA too.
teaching
But
shit.
it's like,
Terrible.
you know,
what does RFK know about Health and Human Services?
JFK
what
did
does he
though.
know?
They killed him.
Oh, you know what? You know what? This is an interesting turn. I now want to talk about Trump's cabinet things.
Wow.
Let's really. What's T, y'all?
Linda McMahon, Secretary of Education.
Right,
Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon's wife, Secretary of Education. Yo,
Rapist Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Oh,
Linda.
Hello. The one who
So
wrote.
funny.
The one who wrote, her husband wrote a little storyline. We were talking about it in my CCR class a couple weeks ago. Wrote a storyline about how his wife was a vegetable and he was cheating on her. What are you doing? What are you?
Don't forget about the ad sexualizing his own daughter.
Yeah,
Don't forget about that.
yep. Because let's clock it. Let's sexualizing his own daughter for television. For television. What's it called? Pete Hegseth.
Jesus
The,
Christ. I was reading an article in New Yorker about him. Jesus Christ.
They say the streets are saying that he was coming to set drunk.
He was coming to set drunk.
Vince?
He was
Pete
on,
Hegseth.
He was at strip clubs going on the what's it called, on the up there with the strippers and everything. Drunk. He was talking about kill all Muslims, this, that, the third. Yes.
Wow.
Bro, yes.
Hello.
He was
But I
like-
mean,
bro.
our president-elect was on Jeffrey Epstein's list, so
Yeah. I
let's.
guess anybody can be president at this point.
But my thing is, y'all, like, this is something that I see pop up in a lot of, like, political science literature. A lot of the rhetoric that Trump uses is very, like, anti-intellectual, anti-expert, anti-science, right? And he's trying to paint himself out to be this paternalistic leader of the U.S. and that you don't need to listen to the economic experts. You don't need to listen to the health experts. You don't need to listen to no experts. Just put your trust in me and I will take us to where we need to go. And this type of rhetoric really works, especially in a time like now when we are still feeling the effects of an economic recession from almost 20 years ago. Like, a case of water at Walmart is like $7. Like, what the hell? So it's like people are going to believe that because the experts that we've had, people have not been seeing results, which is why it's so easy for people to be like, oh, nah, forget the ones that got the degrees. Forget the ones that spent 10 years getting their PhD in this stuff. Y'all have not been doing what we need y'all to do. We're going to go to someone else who has a completely different approach. And that's scary. That's very scary.
What's the easiest kind of population to manipulate?
Us.
An uneducated one.
There you go.
An uneducated population is the easiest population to manipulate.
That is us.
If you feed the people misinformation
We're right.
and do it in a charismatic way, the way Donald Trump does it, guess what they're gonna eat it up. They're gonna eat it up. People are like you're saying, they're fed up, they're tired with, seeing BS politicians doing whatever they want, coming in saying, promising this, that, the third, they're gonna change this, and it hasn't worked. Seeing cabinet, people in cabinet who aren't really, doing anything, or it seems like nothing's changing, the economy's getting worse, things that, like, obviously people are gonna listen, like, when someone offers them something that, sounds so simple, elect me, taxes go down, and, like, prices go down, things like that. Like, he just says things
With confidence.
with confidence,
Gusto.
with no substantial backing, though. You know what I mean? He's talking out of his ass a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows how to say it. People gonna listen. So, like, when it comes to, like, presenting, like, his cabinet picks and stuff like that, it's like they're with him, so they're good. You know what I mean? Despite the rampant, like, all that, like, Hegseth is like a alcoholic, and a misogynistic and this, that, the third. He's with Trump. It's cool. You know what I mean? Who else?
Chris Wright, Liberty CEO. Actually, Abby,
Yes.
you know the oil CEO that's going to be our Secretary of Energy.
Oh Lord,
I don't think I haven't read up
Oh,
as
man.
much
Girl, you
on the
good.
other cabinet
No,
picks.
Chris Wright is.
Chris Wright, that because first of all, let's not forget, Trump already took us out of the Paris Accords once.
And he's gonna do it again.
He will do it again, and now that he has an oil CEO as his Secretary of Energy,
And it's gonna stick this time.
we will never ever see solar energy. We will never see the advent of solar energy in the U.S. Ever. What? And the thing that concerns me most is, like you said, Dan, like, Trump is having a lot of yes men on his cabinet, and you can never have that. Like, as a leader, you know what? Actually, I was watching a docu-series on Netflix called How to Become a Tyrant.
How to Become a Tyrant.
Yeah.
How to Become a Tyrant is great.
And like, that was one of the things, is surround
having
yourselves
yes
with
men.
people that are die-hard loyalists to you. And I think that's so dangerous. Like, as a leader, you want to have people, number one, that are experts. I don't think Pete Hegseth is an expert in defense.
Nah.
The hell does he know? He's a Fox News anchor.
He served, but like, he served.
Okay,
You know?
the National Guard.
You know what I mean? But
Please.
also, like, still, it's like, all right, I'm not gonna pick some random veteran I know off the street to. No,
That's what I'm saying. So it's like he has nobody on his cabinet that can tell him, no, that's not a good idea. But even if he did, he would just fire them.
Right.
If y'all please go look back at Trump's first cabinet, yo, no one made it through their terms, bro. Not a single person made it through their term. That's the funniest thing ever.
What happened to Sarah?
He had
Huckabee?
like 3 Secretary of State.
Where's she at?
Where
Huh?
is Sarah Huckabee at?
Yo, Sarah Huckabee, man.
Where you at? Sarah, where you at? Sarah, we miss you.
Actually, where is Sarah Huckabee?
Sarah, we miss
Where
you.
is she at?
I hope you okay,
Vivek
Sarah.
and Elon Doom. They the only one making.
Oh, let's talk about damn.
Mm.
Vivek and
We do.
Elon.
Everybody
What's up,
do.
Elon? His
Shout out to Elon. He successfully bought his way into the American government and
Right.
proved that anybody can do it, even a foreign national.
As long as you have the money.
talk
As long as
about
you have the
it.
money,
As
man.
long as you got the
Money talks. Money talks.
Let's talk about Abby. I haven't heard much from you, but you can deflect this question if you feel like you're not prepared. But why do you think that Elon's endorsement of Trump was so successful? Because a lot of people endorse Trump, but I don't think anybody's endorsement has had as much sway as Elon's. You can sit on that. You can marinate on that for a little bit. Dan, if you want to jump in, you can go ahead and jump in.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like, so one of my very, very close friends from back home, he is a big Elon guy. He since way for a minute, he's like Elon Musk, just been inspired, kind of his come up story, how he made so much, he's the richest man in the world, made so much, I wouldn't say so little, but he basically maximized his resources and his potential to make it it's a good
Rags to riches type of story.
Elon is he feels like he's he's one of us, you know what I mean? That's kind of that appeal. He has that appeal of being a man of the people kind of thing, but he just happens to be the richest man in the world. He has this cadence about him, that he's for the people, this, that, the third. So kind of seeing somebody so rich like that, who's so kind of a man of the people, it's easy for people to be attracted. People hate people like Zuckerberg and Bezos because they feel oh, dirty billionaires or whatever, kill the rich, whatever. But Elon is that kind of he draws you in. He has this personality that makes you feel oh, I really I rock with him. I rock with Elon. So I think that's what.
The crazy part about that is that his father literally owned diamond mines in South Africa.
So it's not rags to riches.
So
that's what I always say. He's a very he's
opportunist.
It's giving.
Yes, yeah,
no, it's giving Nepo baby.
No,
hello?
yeah, he's a Nepo baby from apartheid. So it's
hello.
The whole story is in a way it's kind of
It's fake.
whatever it is, but
Fake news.
people love Elon. Elon is rich. Elon Elon makes money. Elon makes people happy.
But you yourself, you're not making money. This is what be killing
That's the
me.
thing. That's the
This
thing.
is what every time I see somebody like that, I just be looking at. Is he
they
paying
think,
you?
They think somehow.
Is he? Are you on the wheel?
Like Donald Trump's just not gonna give you another $2,000.
Yeah,
we're not in a pandemic.
He didn't even give you that money. That was a Democratic Congress. Let's not get that twisted. He didn't even want to give you that money.
2002, but y'all didn't.
Yeah, but y'all, we don't talk about that though. But that is all the time we have for today. As always, the state of American democracy can be likened to a dumpster fire right now. But, you know, it's our democracy and we have to love it. And it is a better democracy than others. So shout out to the founding fathers for that. But we hope that you guys have had a lot of fun joining us in the first season of BTM Politics. And 2025 is going to be crazy, guys. We have inauguration coming in. We have a lot of new policies that Trump is looking to set in motion as soon as he gets into the Oval Office. So I'm excited from the standpoint as someone that does a political podcast. I'm scared from the standpoint as somebody that lives in the U.S., as a black woman that lives in the U.S. But we'll see what happens, and we hope you guys stick with us through it. As always, make sure you're not only tuning into BTM Politics, but also BTM Sports and BTM Entertainment. And we'll see you guys in the new year. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Bye, y'all.
Yes.